Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
So we can come up here and help out. Owner aware of this. Have a control ward though in the pit. I don't think Owner can really stop this. He is going to come over here and verify that in fact this dragon is going. Don't think he'll be flashing for a 50-50 though.
It's feeling a little bit like a 4v3, but the Drake does go over to the Bros, and T1 will just back away.
Just the one time, just to catch the aggression from Owner, but now he's going to get a stun at least.
Yeah. Crocker is just going to push Faker away. Grand Starfall now available for the Pantheon, as now Polo looking for an angle, but it's Owner that comes on through. He gets stunned up though. The Arcane Storm comes down. Magnus Storm's there as well. It's Stormy here in this bottom lane as Faker gets into the back line. Croco goes down first. Polo second to follow. And T1 just wiped two off the map. They're just too clean.
That wasn't cool. Pantheon wasn't really being that aggressive, wasn't looking for anything, as Closer is the next target and the next victim.
Yeah, this gravity field is doing a lot of work, as we can see. Carrier is going to go down. The teleport from Morgan comes on in there, as now Faker looking to turn it onto Hype. Melee range with this Silas is not where the Misfortune wants to be, as that bullet time, it was time for something else, I think, in that particular moment. Morgan's going to be able to take down Owner, though, and it makes it a little bit better there for the Bros.
It's like the gun that when you pull the trigger, a flag comes for the victor, so that's a big trade back. This was a little bit more awkward, and
it's very uncomfortable when you're trying to aim a cone at someone and they're literally right on top of it. And it's like, in this game, it's the first real advantage. It is going to be feats of strength going over to T1 as well, as this top lane outer turret falls down. Doran kind of getting massive, which is a little bit of a problem. However, the gold is not, it's not in a ridiculous lead for T1.
No!
Now Faker also going to be face checking here. Croco and Polo there, Closer with the damage, and this Silas is going to try his very best to get out. It's not going to work. And so the Bros pulling closer and closer with T1 once again.
How do you like hide on push?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to be, it looks like potentially a turret in exchange here. Now they did make this play successfully because Owner was on the other side of the map, but that also means Owner is going to get the Herald for free, so that's going to be a lot of damage potentially put into this mid turret. That's sitting at like 60-ish%.
Yep.
So one turret apiece as Closer finishes off that bottom turret with a play onto Faker. We'll see what, because they have a 2 Drake lead. I'm just not going to allow that. You guys push up bottom side, Doran push bottom side. We get Prio for Dragon. We already have Prio mid. I TP top. I deny them that turret in exchange, and we get the Dragon. It's like these moments where you can see T1 are thinking like 3 steps ahead, and Bro just end up with nothing.
Yeah. Bro also, I feel like, had an opportunity to play for that soul, but they just didn't really look interested. As now Doran, speaking of not being interested, he probably would prefer not to die here as the public execution does go down. Polu going to turn up there as well, and yeah, with Winter's Bite stacking up, down he will go. Concussive blows, sorry, as Morgan is going to be rewarded with the kill. 2-0-0 on this Ambessa, and he's getting closer and closer to a gold lead against his opposite number. Bit to tank up that last shot from Gumayushi.
Ooh, Faker getting aggressive here on the bottom side.
Yep, there is still a turret that's pretty healthy, as Faker is just trying to make sure that Closer's life is as difficult as possible. And the Rift Herald going to be getting a charge, so it's likely going to cut open this mid lane as Doran looking for some of that needlework. Of course, you need to land it here to get all of that sustain that the Gwen does have. And Carry is moving up. Morgan just not going to quite find it here as he looks to try and dash away, but the Shattering Strike comes in, and Doran, he's running with scissors. He's real scary.
That was a cool attempt there from Morgan to try to use Carrier to get out, but...
Morning here, down towards this bottom side. 2 minutes on the Dragon, so they don't have to deal with both of them just yet. As now Gumayushi could be in trouble. He has to flash to get out of the way of the Winter's Bite there, as well as now Owner might be paying for his sins. Morgan getting amongst it, and the Crescent Guard not quite working, but Croco also down extremely low. Guma takes so long to go down, but Doran, he's not immune. Neither is Carrier, and Faker realizing that he's going to have to cut his losses. This could just be Otacon time for the Bros. But they're going to move towards the mid lane instead. Taking a call. So they're going to start off this Dragon. See what the answer is here from T1. Ambessa on that top side of the map to teleport in from the Gwen to start this one off. Gravity Well now on cooldown as in comes Morgan. It's a 5v5, it's going to be honest, but that Magnus Storm is so good, and the Bros are going down so low. Croco able to grab Soul Point, but can they actually stay alive in the fight? That's the question. Grand Starfall, and he just exits. All right, and they just call for the disengage.
Yeah, very close to dying anyways, but he is able to channel it and get away. Closer's going to clear this wave. Can he actually get the turret here? That would be massive. He's just got these 2 range minions, and I think he has just enough damage to take this one out. He's going to have to do one more shot, and he'll get it. And I think he gets away too. Doran is the only one nearby, and he's got his buddy there. Now they're losing Otacon, of course, for this, but I think that went about as well as it could have for Bro after that fantastic Magnet Storm from Keria. This time, he...
Yeah, Closer also just eradicates waves, so Doran not going to be able to tank up turrets, and the backdoor burn is going to be too powerful. So the Victor, not necessarily known as a side laning champ, is now Faker could be in a little bit of trouble. Croco just running on in. And there is the flash out from Faker. He might actually survive this, as immediately T1 are on the Baron. Polu gets idea of what's going on, but do they actually manage to rotate over? That's the question.
Faker has TP. Morgan does not. They're actually going to be able to...
Starfall.
Yeah, they should be able to get Morgan in here, and I think T1 are making the right call to back away.
Oh, man. And you saw, like, this is the classic T1 play. They try to catch Faker on a side lane. He narrowly escapes, but already the team's doing Baron.
Yeah.
And the Bros, thankfully, had an answer for it.
But it's always those threats you have to be so ready for when you play against T1.
100%. 30 seconds now on the Chemtech Soul as well. Shattering Strike comes down. There's the chain CC. Magnastorm as they commit onto Hype, who has to flash very early in this fight. Ona dashing forward, but there's Polu with the save. Crescent Guard does come on down, as now the rest of the cavalry will turn up. Ona, the first one to fall, is Hype using that Bloodthirster to get his health bar back. It's a good Deadly Flourish to try and save Keria, but the Grand Starfall gets Croco in, and down he goes. I'm not entirely sure about that particular play, as now T1 feeling like this is their opportunity, but Morgan gets into that backline as Gumayusi's in so much trouble. Still, so much burst damage onto him. And the Bros, they managed to take down Ona, but Croco, just in light of fairness, is going to throw his life away as well.
He said jungle for jungle.
Yeah, that's the trade.
And they are going to be able to turn. It's still a 1-team fight, even though it's a 1-for-1. Like, they won the subsequent fight, so T1 lower health bar is not able to contest. I mean, they're trying to come over here. A big flank from Doran.
Yeah, and Faker actually had the Grand Starfall. The Bros trying to get back into position, and they may have bitten off more than they could chew. Closer trying to do what he can here with his AoE damage, but down goes Hype. Gumayusi stands his ground, and even though the gravity field is good, it's not good enough. It's a triple here for the Gwen, as Keria with some supportal combat against Polu. He gets the Gromp involved, and Gumayusi's delivered a kill. That is soul denial, and it's a bit soul crushing as well for the Bro Leavers.
It certainly is. T1 taking a significant gold lead off of this. Faker's already got his eyes on just yet in this fight. Then Croco gets a little bit far ahead of himself here, while Hype is nowhere near and ends up just exploding. But they end up winning the subsequent fight. Now they're on Baron.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, well, Croco is just going to get executed, and the Baron will go over to T1. Baron plays in T1. They're pretty good at it, and that is going to secure them that.
And they just thought T1 were going to give it up. T1 doesn't give up so easily on these big objectives. And that team fight win, the later part of it, the second version of it, you could say, is what gets them the Baron. They deny Croco entry, no 50-50, no smite steal, a dead jungler. And like you said, T1 are going to turn this into an 8K plus gold lead, very likely.
Yeah, that's the danger. So far, haven't really picked up too much. As now Hype able to sidestep very nicely. But Croco is fighting with Doran, and Doran is just fighting with the turret. And he's going to win that battle, as Croco going to have to flash over the wall. Hype with these auto attacks is pretty scary, and Faker having to go golden, but he's still going to die. And the Arcane Storm also pushing T1 away. So even though they've got the Baron, they're not going to be able to utilize it for the next little while. They're going to need to go back, lick some wounds. And the Grand Starfall actually getting Croco in there. He'll get the stun onto Doran. Is it an overextension, though? That's the question, as Gumayusi at full health, but now he's left out to dry. The rest of the Bros chasing after them. 4 versus 5, the advantage for the Bros, but still, T1 get away. We were talking about the fact that T1 pretty good at ballooning it. I think with that last play, doesn't quite work out, as Croco is possibly once again dead. Keria able to use the Magnastorm and get out, but Croco will survive for the moment. Bullets flying on in here as Ona on a ward right now, and Gumayusi will find the last shot, take down the Pantheon.
Closer hates Croco confirmed.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's so unfair.
No, it just wasn't even necessary.
You just stand in front of him, man. As Tigon also a little bit upset about it, but that interruption from Polu, the president, might be making things happen, and the Lord decrees that it is time to get into the backline and win this game. The Gwen gonna go down, and Morgan is still up, pushing Faker away, but Faker does manage to take down Closer. It's a lot of the DPS now missing. Ona now as well. Wind becomes lightning, but he's getting hunted down.
Will Morgan find him? I think the answer is yes.
Yep, Guma trying to escape, but the captive audience, deadly flourish, and he just does a lot. So yeah, Morgan does get into melee range, but then what?
Yeah, he just the rest of the comp is melee, so they end up winning the fight until Morgan goes in, and Guma has reloaded, and he has enough DPS to shoot 4 times at an Abessa who's rooted. And I don't know how much agency hype Croco and Morgan are really going to have here, as this Baron is just gone.
Yeah, we don't have any scrying ability, and it's just going to get taken down. So the Bros, they're going to choose a different time to fight, is what I expect.
I just don't think they could have fought there unless Croco just ults in and they just
yeah,
go
but then
for a
Croco
Hail
is
Mary.
definitely just dead.
Yeah. And I mean, they denied him last time, so he's probably got bad memories and he doesn't want to do it. But I don't think there was much of an option there for Bro. But sit back and give Baron and let T1 win the game is not really the option I was looking for. Is Croco?
Yeah, he's going to have to flash, but he's probably dead. Yeah, and by probably, I mean definitely.
If you're going to be there, you might as well just ult the Baron pit.
Very true.
Being mean, but I don't know. That's going to cost them big, because now that's no flank angle, real way to shut down this Baron at all. I mean, not for 40 more seconds while he's in the death chamber.
Well, now Morgan has found Faker and Carrier trying to get something done here in this mid lane. Morgan does do a fair bit of work. As you can see, the rest of the Bros are going to turn up. So this tower will survive. So you can see T1, they are pulling them around. Doran still pushing towards that top side, and Faker just immediately teleports back. Like you say, they are so good at making sure that you have to be aware of everything.
The 1-3-1 power, when you have this much control over the map, I mean, it kind of plays itself. You just go to the lanes and let the minions do the work and start sieging up from forever away.
Yep, and there it is. Tower goes down. Ona goes in immediately as the Arcane Storm is down. Closer goes Golden, and now Hype in the back line has his GA pop very, very early in this one. Doran's running with scissors all over the place, and that is just so much, too much for the Bros to deal with. Croco goes down. Doran's underneath 2 Nexus turrets and just goes Golden and says, this is totally fine. They'll take these ones down, and T1 move to 1-0 in their match against the Bros, looking to get a grin on his face as well. Not necessarily known for this pick.
I mean, a pick, frankly, that he has avoided, but he has played in the past and has given us some pretty decent performance. Bro just... Ooh, nice shove. For some pressure more, Faker's flash still down. He used his charm.
Charm doesn't actually hit onto anything at all, but Ona is moving in here. Threaded volley doing a fair bit of work as Croco just trying to bide his time, as now Faker getting on in there, and Croco is in so much trouble. He flashes, he finds the Q, and the monkey will live. The doggos don't find the daggers either, and Closer is now looking to finish off Ona if he can. Carrier comes in, and that is going to be the cow saying no to all these shenanigans.
Anywhere. Once again. Solid early is Faker. Where are you at?
Oh dear.
Rocks are down.
Yeah, the rocks go down, and Faker not going to be able to do too much about getting out of the way of this one. It's good charm onto Closer, but I don't think it's going to save him, and it in fact does not. There is yet another kill. Faker 0.
But Doran potentially aware of this. Let's see what he decides to do. They're going to get a plate at worst case scenario, but I think they're going to get a Jace too. As here comes the Wukong.
Yes, I think Doran getting the idea that he's going to have to try and clear out the wave. The Ghoulie Wall comes down, the arrow sails on through, so does the True Shot Barrage. That's pretty cute. Faker's teleport just that little bit too late, not going to be able to save the Jace. Morgan just needs like 2 Qs, and this is dead.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, he's going to get this Demolish proc he didn't get a second ago, and it's just gone. Yep, that doesn't cancel teleports anymore, so he may be dead.
Well, he's just going to teleport himself because he knows, oh, the charm has to land, but it does not get it there in time.
And so Faker trades aggressive while Closer was showing there on the bottom lane and tried to make something happen for this Herald, but they instead kind of slow-played it. Faker was a very long rotation down to the bottom lane. And now Morgan's going to get this turret for free. He doesn't need the Herald for this one. And I don't know if Faker will be able to say the same about this bottom turret. He has Ona with him.
Side lane pressure is always going to be there.
Yeah, and T1 are not known to be down 2 turrets at 20 minutes, you know? This is a quite unusual situation as Morgan.
It's a really long lane, by the way. There's the Morning Mist, and there is the Ghoulie Wall. Doran is just dead. He didn't even need to shovel him.
solo kill.
Yeah, that was, well, it was more of like
that's actually what it was.
You know, if Hype stole the kill with the arrow, I don't know if we'd feel good or bad about it.
I think we'd just have a giggle.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'd be at. As, yeah, Morgan's like, okay, my minions are better than yours, Morgan.
I mean, he's so big. He has Shojin.
Yeah,
So
look
he
at
kills
this.
him if he doesn't
He's able
W.
to flip out of there. But now it's Gumayusi's turn. Faker comes in. Great sidestep. I think Morgan is definitely dead, but he's demonstrating that he's pretty scary. Gets a bunch of his health back. He's running around in circles. The goalie wall is cute. And the Maiden is going to go down. So Maidenless and dead is Morgan, but Anakan is also dead.
Yeah, I liked it when he killed Doran. That was the good part. The rest
That was the good part.
was kind of cool because they got Anakan. It looked a little bit funny, but so many people have to come to deal with the side lane pressure threat. That is exactly what you want with your side laner.
If Doran dies again, then it's 100% worth, as he has to go in because he knows that he's dead. Good flash comes out there, but Closer puts himself in. The Cyclone from Croco is extraordinary, and they just keep the doggo in the sky, and Closer survives.
Yeah, on target all Z, and the dog was flying, and then down.
Yep, and now Faker is looking to get a dive onto Closer here. Seismic Shove actually headbutted into. That was so weird.
My mid laner!
Yeah, they are all defending Closer. Saving Private Closer. That's kind of the way here for the bros, I guess.
And so many T1 members top side, and guess who's on the bottom side, split pushing and looking for an inner turret with Demolish procs at the ready. It's my man Morgan.
Yep, and now Doran is fighting Croco. I think my money's on Croco if it's a fair 1v1. As Morgan, like this is just gone. The Maiden going to be put back together. Morgan no longer Maidenless as he gets this wave put together once more. I mean, Paulo also standing his ground against Ona. That is a sign of how this...
Bro can lose this game, but it just doesn't look like they're interested in losing this game. They are not letting control of sides at all this game. They're playing so well.
Oh my God, how did the Seismic Shove work?
And I just don't see the way back into the game for T1 unless they make a mistake.
Oh, there's a flash forward as over the wall goes Croco. He's got another section of Cyclone here. I'm pretty sure there it is. He uses it to make his escape. The Seismic Shove delivers the dog over towards the bros. And they will say thanks for that one. It's not the hot dog this time around, but they're going to still say it's delicious. As Doran looking to try and finish off Paulo here, but he's made it to safety.
And they're trying to burst this one down, and even Morgan's getting involved. But this is a scary angle here for Bro.
Yeah, Bro really want the turn, and they are going to find it here as down goes the Talia. Morgan gets in amongst it, though, as the goalie wall is down. Paulo looking to try and make something happen. The flash forward from Hype, he's crazy, but it just might work. As down goes Gumayusi in that backline. Morgan is making sure no one else can get in here. And it is Doran and Guma both on the ground.
T1 is the tennis ball that Bro keep pulling from side lane to side lane. And now looking for more onto Faker. Good charm.
Yeah, and now Faker is kind of in a box. They do put the wall down, but the Seismic Shove going to pull him back, and man, he had absolutely nowhere to go. Down goes the Fox Lady.
I mean, who's going to deal with Yorick now, by the way? Morgan's level 16.
I don't really have anyone to elect for that one. Is Paulo going to stop Ona from getting on top of him? And
would you pick the inhibitor turret? Can you think the inhibitor turret can deal with Morgan? I don't think so. I don't think this inhibitor turret's got it, man. I don't think so.
Doran is shoveling, man, and he's shoveling strongly. Doran comes on over.
Not much they can do when Bro don't make mistakes and play the macro game perfectly, using the Talia so well.
Well, Faker is, speaking of caster curses, they are real. And the arrow going to connect onto Carrier, who uses the ultimate to deny it. So down goes Closer. Paulo going to taxi on the crab and does manage to evict the doggo. But the bros now in a whole lot of trouble. One after the other, they are going down. As at least it was the decoy that fell there. The flash charm going to be able to pick up Croco, but the goalie wall will just deny. Owner able to front flip his way out. But there is the Warrior Trickster from Croco. He has to use the flash as well, though, as Ona going to get slowed down. There's the blast cone. Morgan just getting amongst it. And he puts a goalie wall down. That's going to make sure that even the Maiden survives.
I mean, there's a potential Baron angle here if they're confident enough to do so.
Yeah, Croco is still up, but you're right. With 3 versus 5, I don't think Bro can fight for it.
I just don't think Croco can reasonably get there. I think they have enough damage here at this point. Shojin is done for Guma to burst this one down. We're going to see the teleport coming through, but it is a Yorick. Carry is holding the line here on the edge. Hype can't get through, and T1 off of the skirmish will take the Baron.
Yep, teleport going to come in from Closer. We'll see how many Barons they can actually take off the map, off the back end of this one. I think Doran is definitely dead, as they're just trying to work out whether they can get anyone else. So here's the consolation Jace, and T1 absolutely happy.
I wonder if Bro could just push this naked inhibitor in the bottom lane and try to take that out before T1 can get reset here. Send somebody down there. Faker teleports to the turret. Arrow?
Yeah, going to get the ulti out of Faker. should mean that this inner turret is going to fall down. So against the flow of play, Bro going to be able to at least get this one back. The Rebel Baron power play kill it.
Yorick deals with it. Now Doran's just alone inside. Almost got the turret. Good try.
Oh, dearie me. Well, there goes the shield.
You don't have turrets.
Heroic charge comes on in. Weaver's Wall going to block him off, so that is just a free kill onto the Jace.
I mean, there's turrets everywhere for Bro. Like, T1 only got the mid turret. Every other turret is alive. So Doran has to go so deep and like can't kill the turret. Then he's just cut off by a Weaver's Wall, and that's the inhibitor. You know, it's just stuff like this that is Bro running circles around what is it, a very attempted Baron power play, but barely in the positives. Faker picks up that top side turret. They're second of the game. But Bro are like, cool, it's your Baron. We're getting more. Inhibitor down, and now threatening the mid inhibitor turret as Faker returns home. But this is the end of the Baron, and it's not a positive.
It's not. And the arrow going to connect on to Carrier, who doesn't press the ulti button, holds onto that one intelligently as well. There's now Morgan throwing out some mist, but as you can see, it's Hype getting to work on the second inhibitor for the Bros. And the base is getting so small here for T1. They just don't seem to have too many answers. And they're putting the Yorick into the only other side of the map that does have an inhibitor. As I say that, he's teleporting into the mid lane because there is a sole point to fight for. Ona goes untargetable to avoid the arrow. And we'll have that one back off cooldown relatively quickly. Morgan moving on over. Remember, the Hullbreaker not doing as much at this point in time now that he's grouped with the rest of his team. They do want to make sure that they can confirm this dragon, and all they have to do is wait.
Yeah, there's a huge wave in the top lane that Doran is dealing with. He can teleport over. Super minions starting to stack up, two of them in the bottom lane. I don't think T1 can win this, or maybe a steal.
Crucial Barrage was cute.
Barely close.
Yeah, not quite enough, but yeah, as you say, closer than a win there, which is like the best way to pay your bro tax. Highlight the bro flags.
The 4-1 here is so insanely strong, and trying to peel off to kill Morgan is just not realistic.
And also, when you've got two inhibitors down, it just makes this play so comfortable. Exactly. The Unbreakable Will onto Carrier there as the Charm will connect as Morgan is making his way over, but I don't think you're winning that 1v1 as the flash forward from Polo is massive. The triple knockup from Croco as well on this Wukong. Gumayushi goes down and Carrier alongside him. And Doran, of course, is dead at the same time. Faker still in this 1v1 as the Blast Cone might save his life. And the popcorn for Dagon is tasting better and better as the Bros look to knock down the Nexus and bring us to a Game 3. Oh, what a day for a 6-gamer, Wolf.
Oh, man. Fearless is pretty cool. I guess like the 1 out of 80 games, we'll get the crazy one. Of these two teams, I feel like are pretty well known. It was 2 years ago, actually, Bulldog's debut year. Here comes Croco.
Yeah, he's walking over Vision. But of course, Carrier wanting to use his grand exit in order to make this one work. The Pillar of Filth goes down, and now Gumayushi on the other side of the rift. Let's see whether this Feather recall is going to work out. It's Croco that eats all of them. The Ebb and Flow doing so much work. And there's one more auto, and that is going to do it. Chef's kiss there for Hype as he picks up first blood. And
the Bro plate away. So feeling pretty good about the tempo that he gains from this, despite dying there in the bottom lane. Very even game here. Really only that first blood, the difference maker, but the Dragon does go over to Bro. I mean, I think obviously it's going to be really nice for him in situations like this too, where things get a little bit brawly. Is
Hype gonna get flashed on there by Faker. Ona gonna come on over as well. There's the dash forward, and the kill goes over to Faker. You can see Ona holds the auto, says, "Take it, my goat." He picks that one up. As now Closer will
turn, and he plays with it just yet. Still early days, of course, but
ooh, bubble looking pretty nice here as Carrier going to get denied as Croco puts down the pillar. And there's a big old shield, but it's not going to be enough. The Tidal Wave going to get a cute little knock-up onto Faker here. But now Hype moving on in. Will he be able to find any value? That's the question. There's the culling right on top of Gumayushi. And yeah, their health bars are getting lower, but I don't think the Bros are going to be able to finish anyone off.
It's going to be really hard. I don't think they should try for it without Palu's ult here.
Stand United was interrupted as well. Morgan tried to use it to get in on top of Closer, and it doesn't actually work.
Yeah, and that's a dead Zoe. And we know what the composition of T1 does. The Talon part of it is a little bit weird, but otherwise it's a pretty standard draft, right? That part is still pretty meta.
Yep.
You've got a Jax, you've got a Xayah, you have an Azir, you have a lot of skirmishing power, you have a lot of safety with the Xayah as well, and Bro need to be respecting the power of these skirmishes, especially the burst damage that this Talon does bring to the table, but even still, after...
As Gumayushi continuing to just keep things shoved up. Closer picking things up from the ground. Ona now possibly out of position as he dives onto Croco. Croco going to get a big old shield as the bubble is decent. There's a knock-up from Polo as well, but only lands onto Gumayusi, as now the culling from Hype zones them really nicely. Doran able to get himself out of there with the leap strike, but the trouble bubble is going to come through. Closer, can he find the paddle star? The answer is not quite enough damage, as Hype wanting to get it done, but the counter-strike was so good, still he just flashes in. That's a way to get it done. They'll take down the Jax, and in the meantime, Morgan is in the side lane. I think he gave a good old shield to the Jax, and not too much more than that. Sorry, a shield to his team, not much more than that.
Not really trying to do anything big on this play, but...
Closer, sometimes you can actually get that one through. It's still going to land the paddle star. That looks pretty nice.
And Faker takes a big chunk of damage. Croco is still here, by the way. Faker's already dashed. The pillar looking for Guma.
The pillar is such high value alongside this Zoe, as Gumayusi's in so much trouble. The jump! And it's going to be Croco that takes him down. Still, the bubble connects onto Carrier. And it's a 1-for-1 trade. Closer picks up a flash, and he may need it. But the trouble bubble going to come through there. The flash comes forward, and Hype's going to look for another one. Doran is respawned and come back in, and will just eliminate the rest of the bros. And in the meantime, Morgan in the bottom lane.
So like I said, Guma has his ult, even though he doesn't have Summers. I feel like this is just T1's prize, and bro, we're going to trade it for a Rift Herald.
Yeah, that looks to be the option. I was trying to figure it out. I looked at the top of the screen. I'm like, oh, it's only 18.5 minutes into this game.
It's so fun to watch. Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, nice little electrocute proc there from Hype.
It's so fun to watch comps that teams very clearly have full mastery on. We're like, okay, 100% we know how to set up on this dragon. And then watching this, where you're like, do we go dragon? Do we go herald? Better just call randomly, I don't know.
Well, in they go. There's a big old tidal wave. This is crazy. Polo is going to explode, but look at these health bars on T1. If Closer finds anyone with a bubble, it's going to be disaster. As now, Paddlestar not going to quite find the mark here, and of course, Zoe is so feast or famine. Either you hit it or you do nothing at all. As the bubble comes in, he does collect himself a bit of a sleepy time. The exhaust goes down on top of him, and he's going to try and get out, but I think he's still dead. So there is the first kill.
They need more.
And another bubble connects onto Faker as well. He will get McHale's, so he is absolutely fine.
I feel like that's not enough for bro. Just
I don't think so either. Unless
Doran.
Unless he can take this outer turret, maybe turn that into also an Otacon. That would be huge.
I mean, I think that's the Otacon might be a bridge too far, but at least they do get the turret. They're going to clear that ward, it looks like, in the mid lane, as Morgan's going to defend Faker's push, because this is a strong side laning Azir, you know, that does have Nashor's Tooth.
Yeah, look at those Heartsteel stacks, though, baby. There you go, 42.
All right. His ultimate available, so can just stand united with his team when the commit to this Drake take does actually come through from T1. Flank here from Croco.
Yeah, bro, I think wanting to get themselves soul point this time around is Doran on a great flank angle.
Zoning sleep pretty good.
Yep, Stand United gonna have to come in pretty soon, I think. A preemptive one would be great, as there it is on top of Hype. That's a lot of damage onto Carrier, though, not able to get too much value, as finally Morgan actually gets into a battle. Still, the Zoe goes down and Doran gets a great counter-strike. The flash out from Croco might keep him alive, but Morgan not going to be so lucky. Everyone just lying on the floor, and unfortunately, the composition for the bros just not quite working this time around, as there's the rake, and he just pops over the wall, and there it is.
Yeah, just like dried leaves, the end of autumn, down he will go. And this is going to be mid-turret for free. By the way, Herald not even employed just yet.
Oh, no, surely.
That T1 were trying to collapse on Faker for just kind of ends up being a bunch of wasted members, as Croco's now isolated.
Yeah, he was trying to work out which direction he wanted to go, and Death Chamber, that's the way.
Hey, there she is.
Hey, hello.
Tuesday comes faster than you think.
It certainly does, because last I checked, it was Thursday. Like, we're a long way away from Tuesday right now.
Oh, this has been a long 6-gamer.
Yeah, Carrier's doing like some weird stuff here now, pushing Shelly towards the top side. And T1 are on the Baron. It's been spawned for a minute 20, and they already hadn't started it.
I mean,
kinda
bro,
crazy.
they're going to show up. It's going to be quite challenging, though, to get something done. Carrier eats a bit of damage, but it's too late.
Yep. Owner is going to be able to secure that one. Now looking for a flank angle as well. Speaking of flanks, Doran will find, okay, a bubble. So that's going to connect, as Polo is just dead. The Shadow Assault just a little bit much there as Hype running out of people protecting him. And in fact, there are none left as Morgan tries to get on top of Gumayusi. And Gumayusi says, thanks for the taunt. That was cute. And nothing else going to really come of it. Croco has just respawned. And the bros, I think, have ran out of ergs in this particular game.
I do feel like the dragon fight was probably the last gasp of this interesting experiment, as Croco's going to try to buy time.
Oh, look at that! Slow down that wave! There's the pillar. Really beautifully done.
Need 20 more seconds. Need 20 more seconds. But yeah, We knew that Owner was good at carry jungles and assassins, so that's not a shock, but everything else for Bro here was very experimental. It did not work out. Strongbow tries to buy time here, 10 seconds on
He's
closer.
just being ignored.
They don't care about him. They want to kill the Nexus.
Yeah, T1 just wants to go home. Eventually he gets swept up by Faker, who goes golden, and he'll remain golden